Hi, kids. The best podcast episodes are the ones that we didn't intend on doing. Mike and I just fuck me, dude. We're watching nothing but shitty movies all weekend. And it's like Wednesday. It just feels like a weekend.
Okay, so
we just sat down. We were looking for something to watch in the afternoon. I'm like, let's just watch. Oh, here. There's a 2008 movie called The Strangers, and they made a fun sequel called The Strangers. No : space pray at night, and I'm like,
oh, it's just a sentence.
Now it is.
The strangers pray at night.
Oh, it's The Strangers, and then the subtitle is Pray at Night. God damn it, this sucks.
No punctuation.
This sucks.
Now, okay, I have not seen The Strangers. You were interested in this because you have seen the original.
The Strangers is less an interesting, exciting movie and more of like a stripped down thought experiment. Let's have the bare minimum characters and let's develop them very, 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 very well. It's this couple that are in love, but after he turned down the marriage proposal, they're not sure where they are in life, but they still feel tenderly towards each other.
Okay, I can see the faded influences of that, because this is trying to develop character.
Well, that's what you have to do, otherwise it's not a character.
Nonetheless, I don't much care about any of these characters.
Here's the thing. I love home invasion horror. It's like one of my favorites.
Yeah, and it is one of those horror scenarios that everyone gets a chill up their spine just thinking about it.
It's post 9/11 horror. This could happen to anybody. But fuck, this sucks. I don't even know where to begin. We had this moment. We called them parades suck moments.
Oh yeah, okay.
Where we're both in our brains going, this sucks, but I can't say anything in case my other person is enjoying the movie.
Yeah, okay. So we were watching this movie and we were both giving its attention. It's due attention. We were quiet. We were,
engaging
focusing
with the material.
And then we both almost simultaneously started to joke.
I'm sorry, this is not as good.
When did that happen?
It happened shortly after the mom gets stabbed.
Yeah, but it's before the dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's before the dad dies.
Because you wanted to be salty, and then you're like, oh, maybe I don't have to be salty because there's that really good scene where he's getting in the car.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Okay. So, and that's what, like 40?
That's about the halfway point. We spent a lot of time gathering these characters.
Oh, fuck.
It tries to do this setup payoff thing that movies like to do and are good when they're done well, but they're not.
This is no payoff. And okay, my hesitation and some of my complaints is that it's going to sound like defensive critique of horror movie logic.
Little nitpicky horror movie logic, like how did you walk up the stair? Oh god, there's a lot of running around in this movie, so it's easy to do. But here's the thing: think about in Scream, I think it was when Drew Barrymore, somebody tries to go through the garage doggy door, and she doesn't get through in time, and it pulls up, and that was a dumb thing to do. But then the garage comes up and kills her. Like that's like, oh, how dare you do that? But at least it was like a one and done. She could have been like upset, or something. But these characters try the same thing multiple times, and it never works out.
Let's go in this.
Every time there's a trailer open, they walk into it.
Let's go in this trailer. Let's go in this trailer. Let's go. You know what? I think we need to stop going in the fucking trailers.
God damn it! I mean, there's like interesting character drama regarding. You're going to boarding school. I don't want to go to boarding school, Mom. That's it. That's an interesting scene. She's edgy, and the dad wants to be a dad, and it's just hashtag relatable.
I did appreciate the fluid way that they got rid of the cell phones dramatically. That they had the parents say, "Can we have a family moment right now and put your cell phones away?"
Yeah,
that made sense. Then
later they were smashed. I understand.
Why they didn't then take the cell phones with them when they went looking for their kids, I don't know. But
you gotta fucking somewhere. I have lots of things that I want to tackle. It's like I don't have character flaws. I have spatial flaws. I hate movies that play kind of loosey goosey with spatial logic, where we're running from one place to another, but
running over that same hill about 3 or 4 times.
But it's the same. You're just at a different trailer. Yeah. It's like Chronicle when he's trying to convince his friend to stop wreaking havoc with his superpowers. They're like, stop, no, and then they run off, and then they're at a different part of the city where they have the same fucking conversation.
I think did the movie try to reference that when, like, right after they find the dead bodies of the uncle and the aunt, the kids run out and go, wait, where the fuck are we? Because all the trailers look the same. And like was that the cast and the crew just trying to cover the fact that we don't have a very large trailer park?
No, you paid for the royalties to Total Eclipse of the Heart. You can afford a trailer park, you son of a bitch.
It probably wasn't that big.
Okay, I have one nitpick. I have many nitpicks. Here's the next one.
Oh fuck! I have a lot of nitpicks and one really major complaint, but I want you to. I'm not trying to like build
where James A. Janice points this out. He's not as mad as I am. Where the fuck is this smiley face motif coming from? Like they said, this movie did well a decade ago. This is a decade after the original. And they said, let's look at things that did well. Let's make another one. This isn't a remake. It's a straight-ass sequel. But they're like, we have to flare it up. What's a spooky fucking thing that the characters can do? Where do they draw smiley faces? Because smiley faces don't usually represent fear. They represent happy. It's supposed to represent that these characters are fucked up in the head because you're not smiling when you're afraid. Oh, the silliness. There's hello written 25 times in 4 different fonts on the window. Oh, that's just silly. Complaint number 2. Look at this. Look at these synth romantic songs. Just floating around.
My eyeballs are melting. That's okay. I'll let you run a bit.
There's so many like it, and I understand that sometimes there's music playing, but sometimes it's not diegetic. It's like sometimes like the song is on, but then like it fades into non-diegeticism. It becomes just a soundtrack.
Yeah.
And some people, they don't like the flashy synth, and there's a place for it, and the place for it is in the best scene in the movie, which will be here in just a second. It just pop everywhere. No matter what you're playing, it's like 80s pop ballads.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but God,
they must kill to a soundtrack.
Of course they did in the first movie. But there are setups that don't pay off. Number one is, what do we know about this older brother besides him being an older brother? He plays baseball. Before you get any word about him, you pick him up at a baseball field, and you're like, oh, he must really be into baseball. And then he's left alone back in the main office, and he hears a spooky noise. So he picks up a golf club, and then he hears a noise.
And then a tiny little woman.
A 5'4" woman.
Right, whose face is at the perfect height.
The head is teed up on top of the neck. And you're waiting for that payoff.
There's a hit me sign, basically.
You're waiting. It's even a colorful mask. You're just waiting for that to pay off. And then he leaves.
He just runs away like a little bitch because some 5'4" midget walked up to him with a mask. Like, oh! And this is also the same character who his mother has been stabbed to death. His dad has just been fatally wounded in a car accident caused by these things. He walks upon a scene where his sister is being stabbed by with a kitchen knife.
And he's got a gun.
And he has a gun. But he has moral scruples.
No. It's not even moral scruples. I feel like...
He's just a bitch.
Now, he is. Here's the thing is that I feel like the writers, they saw a scene in some other movie where the idea of him becoming a man, of some character becoming a man, or having moral quandaries about actually killing somebody, where that was developed way better.
But there's no scene prior where we find out, wait, does this character need to grow up? And then there's a moment where, like, oh, you see, this is a further validation of the theme that he needs to grow up. No,
that was never established.
Fine. It was never. We are just the first major character flaw that we are introduced to this character is he will not shoot someone who's just killed his mother and stabbed his sister.
there's like a moment where I think the actors kind of realize what bullshit script they're in, where the daughter has stormed off and the dad's like, go talk to your sister. Why? I don't know.
Yeah, what
She's your sister. You're her dad.
I wonder if the screenwriter had siblings, because in that scenario that there's nothing you're gonna do.
This was written by an only child. But so yeah, so at one point the daughter gets stabbed and he's like, get away from her, and then he's holding up the gun, he's like, drop the weapon. And I kept repeating something that the girl might have said, like, why didn't you shoot the man who stabbed me?
Yeah, later as they're running away, she is crying because she's trying to run with a gash in her thigh, and we're just going, ow, ow. You know that time where like a lady stabbed me? Why didn't you shoot her?
Oh my god. And there are scenes where I hate to delve into horror movie logic. This is the very rare for us. So we're not going to do this. There's a lot of scenes where there are guns involved that aren't kept or aren't taken. And
like we never find out where that pistol goes.
The pistol, the shotgun. But there are fucking...
I'm proud of you, son. Not anymore.
You were a cynic. You were like, oh, but what if they're blanks? But
I was giving him, okay, when that scene happens and he doesn't shoot one of the main villains, I was willing to give the movie the benefit of the doubt. I was thinking that these mastermind villains who seem to cut all the phone lines and all that stuff and have locked the place up have purposely loaded blanks into the bullet box.
Just to fuck with them, because we've established they want to fuck with you.
Yes.
But that gun never goes off in the movie.
It is never shot.
So it has to be assumed, Chekov's assumption style, that gun had real bullets in it.
And just okay, we're focusing too much on the.
Let's talk about the good. Jesus Christ, there's one scene that.
There's two. I think there's two good scenes.
Which one's not the pool?
The one where the dad is stuck in the car, and the guy with the bag just kind of slowly walks up, opens the car door, sits down with him, goes, "Hi."
And he starts fiddling with the radio. I
like that.
It is nice.
But it's not as good as the pool scene.
It's not as good as the pool scene. I thought it was so cool that they used the fact... I thought it was hot shit that, the music's clear when it's above the pool, and when it was under the water, it's muffled. That's still cool. There's just a lot of really cool scenes where he turns on the lights to the community pool. It's just the tacky neon Vegas-style lights. And he's walking across the field, and you see something come in from the background, and it zooms really quick, and then you get that payoff. Do you know how satisfying that golf club swing was?
Oh, I shouted with glee.
I know. Imagine if that had happened in the store.
That would have been amazing.
It would have, and it was really satisfying, and he fucking just stabs her to death, and he has this boss-ass bitch moment where he's like, I killed you.
I killed one of yours.
You know, how do you feel? But if there was more of a theme of him growing up...
Yeah. It would have been. Yeah,
it would have been really satisfying.
It would have been great.
But instead, he has a really satisfying, sword fight with the leather bag man, and then they fall in the water, and he gets stabbed, and he almost drowns 12 Years a Slave style.
Yeah, that was good.
And he gets saved, and it's whatever. He lives. As I began to realize the rest of the movie sucks, I'm like, Mike, I'm really sorry. This really good scene that I bought the movie just to show you is not gonna.
Was that scene?
Yep.
Okay.
It's not gonna life vest the rest.
No,
of the...
that pool scene does not save the rest of the movie.
It's neat.
Yeah. Okay. I have to explain. I have to try to defend my main complaint with this movie.
Go for it.
And it has something to do with the picking at horror movie logic, but not for the main characters. My complaint is not that they're stupid. My complaint is that the villains are stupid. They are inconsistent stylized posers. I don't mean that like they're like posing to be something. Their presentation, they present themselves as if they know they're in a horror movie. They're trapped. Like, for example, as an example, earlier in the movie, when we first see the guy with the bag and the axe, and when he shows up the first time, he's just waiting outside. I can imagine him in his voice, this interior monologue going, this is going to look so cool. It's going to creep him out so much.
They're just doing...
And he doesn't know that there's a loaded gun in the house. And he's just standing outside going, I'm going to creep him out with an axe.
Scared as shit. Okay, that scene works in Us because, like, these aren't normal people. But I imagine...
No, exactly. And this is... I'm going to get to this.
Okay.
I'm going to get...
Okay.
The stylized posing is fine if the villains themselves, if the movie presents them as supernatural or unnatural, there's something strange about them where you can see that, okay, yes, they can take the time to create the atmosphere, but not at the expense of being able to practically kill the people. Okay. And this movie later shows that these people are bumbling fools.
The villains, that is.
Yeah, they are when you can out wrestle them with a knife, but they have to take the time to go, I'm gonna like, okay, later. So in that right before the cool pool scene, or kind of during it, when he's like stabbing the lady,
yeah, bad
guy decides, he is stabbing one of my persons. I'm going to slowly walk over there while I'm dragging the metal axe on the floor. Thereby eliminating the element of surprise because I want it to look cool.
The movie is full of that shit. Like when they find that right before the daughter gets stabbed, they find a Jack-in-the-Box and baby doll.
Out of the dozens of trailers, she walks into one.
She's just hanging out
with
in there.
Where the one is hiding in the shadows, just kind of in the corner, going, I hope she picks this one. Then I'll pop out in the dark.
This is extraordinarily rare for us. I want you to know. By the way, their names colloquially among the fan community are Bagman, Pinup Girl, and Baby Doll.
Okay, okay. But I'm sorry, I'm hitting this over the head. But this, as I was watching this was what was frustrating me so much. The stylized posing of the villains were like, well, I am about to, threaten someone with a knife, but before I do that, let me take the most the worst defensive pose I could possibly have, completely straight, and tilt my head, and so I'll look creepy. If someone knew what they were doing, they could take you out.
I'm gonna do something I never do and praise The Purge here briefly. You remember the over the top hammy elitist bastard from the first Purge?
Mm-hmm.
At least he lived in a society where we all agreed that this is a thing that happens.
Yeah.
So he could be as weird as he wants. He's just like, if you do not open the door, I will bring in special toys to rip the wall off your house.
Whereas these dumb fuckheads is like, okay, my car is on fire, and I am driving up. I'm about to run over this girl, but I want to make it look cooler. So I'm going to swerve a bit and give her some more time because it would look cool in the movie. My eyeballs are fucking melting, but I want it to look cool.
Well, okay, so I'm getting really mixed signals because car on fire after it has exploded. He does a little...
could run over.
He does a little 180 fishtail, sure, and then chases her for a while with the car, which is still functional. And when he gets out to try to axe her, it finds out he has a large shard of glass that is killing him.
It was the glass that did it, not my burning flesh everywhere.
And so she gets away and she pulls over this mother son. They're like, "Do you need any help? Please help me." He's like, "Oh, she looks spooky. We better leave." And she gets in the car, and the movie
back of the truck
in the back of the truck, and the movie, remember how bad you felt about those scenes from The Touch? How dare you try to gain favor by fucking ripping off
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
And I remember
and have the wrong character use the baseball bat.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And the bagman is getting on top of the back of the truck, and you would think any of those people driving would be like, what the fuck is going on back there?
What the?
So I guess now she baseball bats and they get away and they're in the
yeah, please.
Do you want to tell it?
Okay, so
they're in the hospital.
Yeah, they're in the hospital. The brother's okay. He's on the bed. He's sleep heavily sedated, and the sister is with him, making sure everything's fine. And then there's a knock on the door. Dun dun Duh!
And there's a slow motion water cup falling down, and she looks really closely, and then it cuts to black.
Like, oh, could it be the bad guy or the baby doll or whatever the fuck?
You've been in the hospital for 2 days.
At least. The nurses. I've worked at a hospital. The nurses never leave you the fuck alone. They will knock on that door every 30 fucking minutes. So she's had that dun 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 at least every 30 minutes for the past 24 hours.
This movie fucking sucks. Here's the worst part, guys. They took what is basically a horror thought experiment or a horror exercise in minimalist style and said, we can make that an actual movie. The Strangers, I wouldn't consider The Strangers like a decent watch, but it's just an exercise in how stripped down and bare bones, just straight ass baked potatoes and nothing else can we make a horror movie out of. And that's neat. It's often very slow and difficult to watch, but it's neat. They said, let's add a bunch of synth and just guns and...
Okay, so with that, would your final thoughts be...
the movie Brave, it would make a great short film. It's there's not enough material there for a feature. Okay. I feel the same about The Strangers.
Okay. And you also said that the worst thing about the sequel is that it made you
wonder why the original was so good in the first place.
That's horrible. Okay. That's bad enough. I think that's a worse. Yeah, that's a worse criticism than my final thoughts.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I've already said it. But my main criticism of the Strangers Prey at Night is the inconsistency with the villains. On the one hand, they're trying to be this minimalist, realistic idea of home intrusion, which is that's interesting. But then you inconsistently combine it with this over stylization.
Yeah.
And those two do not mesh well.
I wish I had a quip to end the episode. This is right outside so bad it's good, which is just really, really frustrating. Go watch it. Came out last year. Get it for $10 like we did. Thanks for putting up with our shit, guys. God damn.
I'm proud of you. Why didn't you fucking shoot him?